This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe and welcome to our circle.
Hello, everybody. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and I am thrilled to be here today on November 12th. Yesterday, here in the United States, or around the world, it was Veterans Day. And so if you know someone who has served in the military, who's presently serving in the military, whose family has served in the military, please just give them a thank you for serving. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for being there. We appreciate that. And there's a really great kids book if you're at all interested. It's called H is for Honor, and it talks about all the different things that our military does. It talks about the privileges, the sacrifices of military service, military families. They also talk about, or the gentleman talks about special forces such as Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Army Rangers. It explains why the annual Army-Navy football game is so important and how massive it is. Letters from home, how much that means to soldiers. So if you have an opportunity to reach out, help a soldier with a program through a local base or organization, please do that. But I mean, it's important because people are gone from their families, and it's a really big deal. So it's, reach out and tell them thank you so much for being there. When they can't be home, it's a big deal to them. So that was for Veterans Day, for yesterday. And then today is Chicken Soup for the Soul Day. And I really cannot think of a better way to soothe our soul than with a really, really good book. And so we're lucky today to have an author that always writes these amazing and lovely stories about small towns and happily ever after. And, of course, she has a rescue dog in this one, which is one of her big passions. And her name on our author today is Kaylie Newell, and I'm so happy because I've known Kaylie for a few years, and she is just always funny and lovely. And she was born in the great state of Oregon, where she was raised alongside rivers and lakes and scruffy dogs that chased their tennis balls as far as Kaylie's noodle arms could throw. As she grew, so did her imagination, and it didn't take long to realize she was a romantic at heart. She began to fancy herself the future wife of a cowboy, the likes of which graced every paperback novel she could get her hands on. And she decided to go to college in Oklahoma to snag herself one, but irony went over, and she fell in love with a hippie in sheep's clothing instead. And together they came back to Oregon, started family, and watched their dreams unfold. Kaylie wrote her first book when her girls were toddlers, editing the saucy scenes with Wiggles in the background. And she's proud of many things in life, among them the fact that she can still recite her lines from Romeo and Juliet, her 7th grade play, the fact she can set a grilled cheese sandwich on fire faster than most people can make one, but mostly she's proud of the stories blossoming inside her brain, her fabulous brain, on a daily basis. You can find Kaylie on her website, Facebook, Twitter, BookBub, and Instagram. And her latest book, Montana Christmas Magic, is out now. Welcome to the show, Kaylie. How are you, dear?
Well, hello. Thank you so much for having me. I want to start by apologizing. I've got kids and dogs running around the house today, so if you hear something in the background, it's probably offspring or dog. So
yeah. I get that too. I have to put our dog away, like in the back room for a little bit, like in our bedroom, because she just gets very excited with every tiny noise. Or she really, really hates golf carts, and I don't know if it's the hum, but man, she'll just be out, and someone will drive one by, and she's just not having it. So
that'll do it.
Yeah, that and motorcycles. I don't know what it is. I don't know. It's a pitch or something. She's just not about it. She does not like that at all.
Yeah.
So no worries. We will navigate around it. So we've known each other, about 5 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So why is it just now that I realized you went to college in Oklahoma? I did not know that.
I don't know. A lot of people are surprised by that because, I grew up here in Southern Oregon, and I just wanted an adventure. I wanted to go really far away to school and be somewhere completely different. And so I did, and I stayed in the Midwest for about 7 years or so. then we moved to Iowa, and then we came back here. So, yeah, it's fun to tell people that because they're like, well, I thought you were here the whole time. And I wasn't, but but I really, really enjoyed my time there. It was so many nice people and just a great experience. Lots of cowboys.
So were you in, where were you in Oklahoma when you went to school?
I was in Durant. So I went to school at Southeastern Oklahoma State. And so it's a smallish town close to the Texas border.
Right.
So we were about 15 minutes, 20 minutes away from Sherman, Denison in Texas.
Yeah, you're
we
right
went there
there.
a lot to eat. And, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and Austin College is up there, right?
I'm not sure. Sounds familiar, but I'm not sure. It's been too long.
Yeah,
and I'm too old.
You would think that Austin College would like be in Austin, but no. So I think Sherman is definitely right up 75. You just head up 75 from Dallas, straight up into Oklahoma.
Yep. Tornado Alley. That was fun.
Yes. Yeah. It's funny because my husband grew up, they were in Iowa when he was born. And then we're in Richardson, Texas, so just north of Dallas, until he was about 13. And then they moved to Oklahoma, which is where his grandparents lived. And, so he doesn't really stress that much about tornadoes. I mean, he's aware. It's like, okay, well, that might be concerning. We should probably look at the radar. But he said they remember the sirens going off. They'd all be sitting there eating dinner, and they'd just kind of look out the window and go, we're all right for another, 10 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Not me. I had one experience where I was in my tiny little garage apartment, which would have been the first to get sucked right up. I was eating a frozen waffle and watching the news, and so my belly was full of frozen waffle, and the tornado sirens went off, the electricity went off, and then it started hailing, and anybody who lives back there knows when it starts hailing like that, it's a good sign that a tornado's about to follow. So there was no, there was no place to hide in my apartment, so I snatched up my little dog and put on my flip-flops, and we ran up the block. It was about 2 blocks up to the college where they had a tornado shelter. And by the time I got there, I was just like, I got to stop and breathe, because if I don't breathe, I'm going to pass out and then I'm dead anyway. It was awful. But I finally made it and didn't get killed by a tornado. I'm here to tell the story. But for years after that, I had tornado dreams, just reoccurring.
Sure.
The situation would be different, but it would always be, I was running from a tornado. So it's interesting.
Wow. Yeah, I told my husband, even when we were dating, and then, of course, when we started having kids, we got married and had kids, I really, really, really hate natural disaster movies where children are in peril, because it's, it's one thing if it's Godzilla or, some, radioactive lizard. It's different because you're like, okay, sure. But when it's nature, like real nature, there's just a real helplessness to that. And you think you're going to be able to hold on to your kids, but I don't like it. So
it's scary.
I'm not a fan. Yeah. So no thank you. When I was in high school when I was in Houston, and we were in Hurricane Alicia, which wasn't a huge storm in the sense of size, but it was it just caused a massive amount of damage. Like just the winds were crazy. And my great grandmother was staying with us, and she was born in 1899, and in Texas, and she grew up hearing stories of the Galveston hurricane, 1900. So she was just losing her mind. I mean, she was terrified. And trees are falling everywhere, and and we weren't going to flood at all. But I mean, it was but man, she was just losing it. She's yelling, "We gotta get out of here!" You know, my
totally.
dad's like, "It's okay." You know, yeah, it's
Yeah, I can imagine.
it's frightening.
Out here,
Yeah.
we've got the earthquakes, and up here in Oregon, it's not nearly like anything in California. But I've been in a couple, and let me tell you, it's when the ground you're standing on is no longer like still and solid.
Right.
It is terrifying because it's like, you think about it, that's like the one constant, you know. And it's like when it's shaking, it's just absolutely. And another creepy thing about earthquakes that I didn't know before is that you can hear them coming. They sound like a train coming. Yeah, before it starts shaking.
Like a tornado.
And a lot of times dogs start howling before it starts shaking. I mean, they can sense it coming. It's very creepy, super creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. They've had different like really big storms. Like tornadoes. There was one in Gerald, Texas, and then the one in Joplin, Missouri, years ago. And everyone always talks about the dogs, like just not having a good day. They're just like, no.
Yeah.
No.
They can sense it for sure.
Yeah. Right. Which is, I'm sure, one of the many reasons you love them and why you help them so much. Because she didn't have this in her write-up. Kaylie didn't have this, but she does rescue dogs. She helps animals. She helps with rescue pets. Yes? Yay.
Yes. Not as much as I would like to, but I do try, you know, when we can. We have our family has a tradition just after Thanksgiving. So during the Christmas season, we go down to the shelter and we pay the adoption fee for the dog or cat that's been there the longest. So I think that's it's like the maybe 5th year that we'll be doing it, or 6th year. But it's been so great. Like it's been a really good lesson for our kids, like just to make them more aware of the problem with, you know, homeless dogs and cats and stuff, and how many wonderful animals are in shelters, like really, really, really great potential pets. So it's been fun. My sister, though, she's really the one that she's really the champion of all animals in our family, so I'm proud to kind of follow in her footsteps a little bit.
Well, you know what? I think that sometimes we all think it's got to be something really big and grandiose, but it doesn't. I mean, just something as simple as paying that fee. That's a huge thing. And you know, you never know
and,
that
like,
family.
Spreading the word. Yeah, it's. I think with social media too, it's just kind of changed the fabric of rescue. I mean, it's gotten the word out there much more than it did before.
Right.
So.
Well, and I get addicted to the dodo. You watch the videos from that?
Oh, I love the dodo. Yes, I was watching it just yesterday about a guy who rescued a baby squirrel and rehabilitated it, and then set it loose, and the squirrel made his nest in the tree right next to his house. And I was just like, this is too much. I'm going to start crying. Which is,
but they're
of course,
happy
the whole
tears.
point of the dodo. Yes, if you don't cry, it's not a true dodo video.
That's
in my opinion.
Right. We watched one this morning. It was about a dog that somebody found in the dumpster that somebody had put in a wire kennel in the dumpster, like had left it there.
Goodness.
Yeah, I know. And we're like, what? And we're watching this, and it looks like it's a mix of a boxer and a pitty. And this poor little thing is just skinny and sad. And so they are doing, and I guess they tend to, of course, when you're really hungry, they gulp their food. And so if you, of course, worry that they'll get sick. So I didn't realize they had these things called slow feeders. And they were showing all the different kinds. And then, of course, the family that adopted him, he was all happy and, you know, running around. And it was just, there's just so many people like that all over the world that
I know. It does. It gives
want
you
to do
hope
good
from
things.
Humanity. So wonderful.
Yeah, it's hard because you want things to always be good, but I think that we have a tendency to get complacent from time to time and just kind of be reminded of those good things in the world. And speaking of good things, your book is lovely.
Yes. Oh, thank
and you have a rescue dog in that.
There's a rescue dog. Yes, I I love the movie Turner and Hooch with Tom Hanks. And that was kind of one of my inspirations for that book, is I just wanted, because the hero is, of course, he's kind of like Tom Hanks was in that movie. He's kind of, this accountant, and he's very neat and tidy, and he has his life just the way that he wants it. And then in comes this, of course, really cute woman who, he's kind of flirting with, and all of a sudden she's got a favor to ask him. She's got this dog. She needs to find a quick place for her to be until she can find her a home, and her landlord won't, allow any pets no matter what, because he's, of course, a Scrooge. So she convinces him to keep the dog, which is a big 100-pound bloodhound who slobbers all over the place and, chews up his boxers and tears the toilet paper off the roll and all those fun things. And but in the end, the dog teaches him to kind of open up his heart, of course, to the heroine, and it's fun. I like dogs and kids in my books. They kind of make things fun and unpredictable sometimes.
Well, I love that they get to be kind of the voice of reason. They get to be the grounding or the honesty. Because, the classic setup in any rom-com is you have the friend who's the voice of reason. But I always love, the pets or the kids doing it. Because it's so natural for them.
And so honest. There's no pretense. They're just, just emotion, which I really like. So
how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I love Hallmark movies, and I when I sit down to write a Christmas story, I think about what I would like to see in a movie. And so those movies are very sweet, and they make you feel good, Yeah. And so I wanted it to be something that was just kind of a sweet story that made you feel good throughout. And my heroine, there's lots of little inspirations with this book. Like my heroine, she owns a grilled cheese food truck, and we have a local grilled cheese food truck here in town, and it called The Melt. So before I started writing, I went to them and asked if I could use the name, and they were so sweet, so nice, and gave me their blessing. And so actually today I'm going to go bring them a book. So I'm excited. Nice. They said if I bring them a book, I get a grilled cheese sandwich. So win-win.
I did not realize that there was the need for a grilled cheese food truck, but it actually sounds quite brilliant.
Oh, there is a need. Believe me.
Yes. So what kind of varieties do they have? Yes.
Well, they've got, my favorite is the standard with soup, which is it's just a really, really cheesy grilled cheese sandwich, but it's got this seedy kind of mustard in it that's like the kicker.
Oh, yeah.
It's so good. It's kind of spicy, a little bit hot and spicy. And then, of course, they have the tomato basil soup, which I like to dip my sandwich in. But then they have a jalapeno cheddar grilled cheese. They have grilled cheeses with different kinds of cheeses, and I think they have one with bacon. Oh my goodness! I mean,
oh wow!
They are amazing. So a grilled cheese food truck. It's just like, if it could be just parked in my driveway 24/7, that would be primo.
The most ideal ever.
Right. That and a chocolate cake truck next to it in my life would be completely set at that point.
Yes. Maybe they should partner. Maybe you should bring in another character that has Yeah, so maybe you should bring in a character that's a relative of one of them for this book, and then it's the chocolate cake truck, and they do it like little tiny cakes.
I like the way you think.
You should, yeah, and like next to each other.
Right.
It's
making me hungry.
It's not fair, is it? Well, okay. See, now I'm going to go make a grilled cheese after we're done.
Yeah. You and me both.
Yeah. But this is not the first book you've written for Marietta, Montana for Too Late Publishing. I mean, which book is this for you?
This book is, I always count and then I always forget. I believe this is the 8th book.
Okay.
I think. This is the 2nd series.
Right.
So I just turned in my the 2nd book to this series and got my edits done just the other day. So the next book that I start will be the last book in this series, and then I have to come up with a new idea. I don't know. That always makes me nervous.
Yeah. Well, and because it's like, what can I come up with? I bet you'll come up with something amazing. I have no doubt.
I hope so. It's like the series are fun because you're in a nice, comfortable world for 3 books. It's like you know who you're writing about, you know what their issues are. But then when you have to start over, it's kind of like, oh boy, I have to meet new people and get to know new people.
Yes.
And that's the challenge sometimes.
Really?
But that's the life of a writer.
It is. Well, and it's interesting because I know that there's always everyone has their process of writing and keeping consistent. I mean, what is yours with series? Like, that this person has the same hair color in book 1 that they do in book 3.
I'm actually not as good at that as I should be, keeping track. I know a lot of writers very wisely have, spreadsheets and little Bibles that they refer to as far as their characters. I kind of just keep that stuff in my head. Well, that's not true. Really, I have, like, at the beginning of every book, I write just a really kind of just a loose list about eye color and hair color and that kind of stuff. But as far as like a comprehensive spreadsheet, I don't do that, which I probably should, because it would be a lot easier to keep track of things than having to go back and find the Word document that I probably didn't label correctly. And so, yeah, it can be a problem when you're writing a series and then you forget little things. It's like, wait a minute, because readers notice that kind of thing, as they should.
They do.
I mean,
Yeah, they do.
So
you got to stay consistent. You can't have blue eyes in book 1 and brown eyes in book 3.
That is the fastest way to take somebody out of the story.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I think that's what I've always found so impressive about historical writers, like romance or historical fiction, the amount of research that has to be done, because those readers are devout and they know.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I love reading historicals. I mean, history just fascinates me on every level. But the thought of writing one terrifies me. Like, I don't know if I could do it. It would be so much work. So much work.
Right. Well, and so I've heard some of them say, some of the writers I've talked to over the years, they're like, well, the initial research is what's the hardest, and then once you have it, you know where to look, you know who to ask, and then you kind of have your groundwork. But that first book or series, that's definitely, and of course it starts over if you change the time periods.
Right.
But if you do it really, really well, people just continue to want what you're writing. So there you go. So,
right.
Not a bad gig.
Right. That's the truth.
So you've got this, and then you've got the next one that you're working on. do you have an idea of what your next series might be?
I have no idea. That scares me. I really don't. I have no idea. I'm hoping it will be in Marietta if I'm lucky enough, if Thule wants another series from me. I don't know. Maybe sisters this time? I don't know. You can't go wrong with brothers, though. I don't know. I really don't know. I'll have to do some thinking on that. So,
yeah. Well,
I'm a little nervous about this last book. Huh? I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. You're nervous about this last book because why?
Because I know basically what it's going to be about, but by this point in the process, because I'm starting it next week, by this point in the process, I usually have a little bit of a mental outline, what's going to happen, the character arc and that kind of thing. I really have no idea. I'm going to have to sit down and really get to work between now and then. So I think all my brain power is going to that book, and I don't have anything left over. I don't have a ton of brain power to begin with, so I don't have a ton left over for that next series idea yet. So we'll have to see where it goes.
Right. Well, and for anyone who's listening and doesn't know, Marietta, Montana is the creation of Jane Porter, who is our boss, and we love Jane, and I'm not just saying that because she may listen. But, I mean, she's just incredibly gracious to share this town with so many of the Thule authors. And that's how I came to start writing for them, was I was part, and you were part of the Men of Marietta series.
Yes.
And
I love that series so much.
Yeah. It was so much fun to plot, and basically the storyline is there's a guy in town who he was killed in a hit and run, and they're trying to honor him by starting a Boys and Girls Club in town, and they need money, and so there was 10 books. So the first 5 books were sweet romances, and it was about a bake sale and a bachelor bake-off. And then Kaylie and I, Jeannie Moon, Kate Hardy, and Heidi Rice were brought in for the next 5 to do, it was a calendar. And if you've ever seen the Australian firefighters calendar type theme, that's what it was. So obviously a little bit sexier. And that was just a lot of fun to plot. So we had so much fun. The research was dreadful, though. Truly dreadful to have to look up.
Wasn't it
all of those.
Terrible?
All of
what
those
a drag.
I know. I just having to look up all of those firefighters shirtless. Like I wasn't shirtless.
It was
the
so
pictures.
hard.
They were yes. And the ones down in Australia were really gracious about it because we actually tagged them.
Yes.
And they were like, what are you guys doing? And we're like, oh, well, because you never think anyone's actually going to respond.
Right. And they did. And we were like, oh, my goodness.
They were so nice. They actually, despite all of that insanity down there, they actually did a calendar this year, which is just floors me because of all the fires earlier this summer or early last year. And they did. They did it. So yeah, and it's well done. Very, very, very firefighter calendar.
Yes, very, very well done.
And this year they actually were very clever because they did, of course, they always do one, the rescue pets. So they did one that was dogs and cats and one that was all sorts of rescue animals like a wombat, a kangaroo, and some birds. But they actually did a calendar that they're not shirtless. They're still
really,
themselves. But
that?
They did one for that people who didn't want shirtless firefighters, maybe at work or wherever, and they're wearing their shirt.
A little something for everybody.
Right. And then they actually did another one that was just the pets.
Really?
I know. Yeah. Yeah, their marketing team is on it.
I'm not as up to date on this as I obviously need to be. I need to be more aware of what's going on down there, down under.
Down under. I will post it on my Facebook page so everybody is aware. We can all support the firefighters. Yes, because I think that's a fair thing to do. Yes.
Yes.
So what are you going to do this holiday? What is a tradition that you guys do for the holidays? You pay for the animal that's been at the shelter the longest, but what are some of the other things that you guys do?
Well, for Thanksgiving, I usually host Thanksgiving here at our house.
Mm-hmm.
My sister hosts Christmas at her house. She lives just a few blocks away, and then my parents live a few blocks away. But my brother lives in Portland, so he's about 5 hours away. But this year with COVID, we're not going to get together, which makes me sad. So I think this year we're going to do a lot of movies, a lot of hot chocolate, a lot of snuggling under blankets, and a lot of good food, and, just be grateful for what we have. And we'll probably carry that over into Christmas, and just hope that next Christmas we can have our normal get-together. But this year it's going to be a little bit different. So I plan on doing my shopping online, try to do it mostly online, but we'll see how that goes. So,
it's definitely an adjustment. For a lot of us. We usually head to family, and this year we're just like, there's just, we're in Texas, and the rates have just been. We had a little bit of a lull. Being in San Antonio, our mayor was very proactive, very early, and actually made a lot of people mad because of how early he addressed it. And sadly, he's been exposed, so he's in quarantine right now. Of course, he checks in and posts. But he hit it early, so our numbers stayed decently okay. And then Memorial Day hit, and just like people just, I guess, were tired, and so it was hard. The summer was a bit rough, but then we'll have another wave. So
we are in the middle of one right now, or actually I would say we're probably on the cusp of a really, really big wave here. Our numbers are just going through the roof right now. So we're just kind of hunkered down, just kind of staying around the house, taking lots of walks. I love going for walks. That's been our saving grace, is taking the dog for a walk, being outside. And
you have Orion, who is a rescue.
Yes, he's in my lap right now. A 65-pound Doberman in my lap at the moment.
And when you got him, did he? For anyone who's followed Kaylie online, she posts about him, Orion, and now he had his eye. Were one of his eyes missing when you got him, or did that come later?
Blind. Yeah, he was blind from birth. He had an infection, they think, in utero, and his breeder just he and his brother were both blind, and so they took him to the rescue to try to have the rescue find him a new home when he was really little, like probably about 8 weeks old, really, really tiny. And so he was blind in both eyes, and when we adopted him, the rescue vet told us that might be an issue. I guess when an animal is blind, it's kind of like glaucoma in the eye, where the eye can get bigger and bigger and bigger, and then it causes a lot of pain for them. And we had noticed, like, he would bump his head, like if he was walking and he'd bump into something, his eye would bleed, which I know it's gross. I know it's bad, but so we ended up having his eye removed, and he's so much happier. You can just tell it's just this relief for him. So he's a blind, one-eyed Doberman, and he is a character, let me tell you. He is so funny, and he's totally spoiled. We have 2 other cats, but he's our only dog. So he thinks he is the center of our universe, which he kind of is.
Yeah, of course he is. It's funny how quickly it happens. I grew up with dogs, and so we always had dogs. My parents, my dad's like, kids need dogs, and my mom, they had a couple small dogs growing up, but she really wasn't a big dog person. So this was a big change, especially my father being someone who would just bring strays home all the time.
Yeah. I think
and they'd find homes. Yeah. And they would find homes. It's like, okay. So I always grew up with that. So we didn't I had cats when my husband and I first married. And then he had really bad dog allergies. So he was doing allergy shots. And he gets his panel back after a couple of years, and I'm like, it says 0 for dogs. We can get a dog. And I mean, I saw it. Like, it was the first thing I saw. And he was like, oh, yeah, I guess it does. And within, I think, a week or 2, we were walking into the pet store because we had inherited these rabbits because we thought rabbits weren't really that much work. Yeah, they are. Tremendous. And there was a rescue event that day, and there were these 2 labs sitting there that someone had surrendered, and the mother had probably been puppy milled, and then this was her daughter that was with her. And so it's one of the few times, in your marriage, there's certain things that you really, really just like say, I'm not going to leave without, or I'm going to pout. And I had never done that before. And I refused to leave the store. And
Atta girl.
And the kids are like, what's going on? And I'm like, I'm not leaving. You're going to have to talk to those dogs. You're going to have to. And so he did. He got on the ground with them, like laid on the floor with them. And they're labs. They're like, story. They're classic vanilla labs. And so they were just sweet and lovely. And, we brought him home. And there you go. So, but he was just, and it's been a while, so they have passed since then. But man, he was just all about those dogs. It was funny, and then that got made us get another one when one of the labs had passed. And so it's very interesting now that he's a dog person.
Sometimes you just don't know until you get one. I have a lot of friends who have been proud of the fact that they're cat people, and you can be both a cat person and a dog person at the same time, obviously, but they never had a dog and never really thought they would be interested in having a dog, but when they got a dog, it was just like, oh wow, I'm a dog person too, I guess. So they're just so wonderful. They're such great companions, and they just love you no matter what, and I love dogs.
Well, I don't know if Orion has done this, but, they just like kids, they come up with their own game. And our dog has decided that, and it's not me. I don't know why she doesn't do this with me, because usually I'm sitting on the couch with her when they do it. But the footrest will be up. And then if someone tries to put their foot up and put it down, now they can't be sitting on the couch to put it down. It's standing in front of it, and like they're going to put it down. She is not going to let them do it. Like, she charges them and growls and then hops around. And it's like this weird little game. She loves it. She's just, and she'll snap. She never bites you. But it's just like, just out of nowhere. Just
it's so funny. They have their own little, they're like little people in dog suits. Like Orion, his favorite thing is he knows he's not supposed to have certain things. So he will, if I'm not paying attention to him, like I'll be at the table writing, which I'm like, okay, normally he's in my lap and stuff, but when I'm writing, I just can't. So I'll be sitting at the table, and he'll just trot by me, and I'll hear him trot by me into the kitchen, and I turn and look, and he's got underwear in his mouth. And it's like, what? Like, that's my underwear. So I'll have to go, and then I'll have to go wrestle it from him, and then I'll take it from him, and then like 10 minutes later he'll trot by, and I look, and it's a pair of socks, and it's like he's just doing it for attention. It's so funny. He's just like a little kid. I mean, he's like, here's what I have. See what I have.
Yes, I'm not supposed to have this, but you know how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So is there anything you haven't written about yet that you want to?
You know, I would love to write. I don't know. I think you know that Stephen King is like my hero. I think you know that.
Yeah.
Like I mean, he's just my favorite. I would like to write a horror novel, or I think I've written what you could characterize as suspense or thriller a couple books earlier on in my career, but I would maybe like to write another something like that. You know, a ghost story, or just maybe just some kind of thriller or something like that, a little bit grittier, just to kind of see how that turns out. I mean, I don't think I'd want to go in that direction completely, but just to kind of have a fun book off the side.
Right, something different.
Yeah.
Have you been to Maine?
I have not been east of Iowa.
Okay.
So I would love to go. In fact, you know, this is really, it's going to come across very creepy and stalkerish, which it probably is, honestly. But I would love to drive by his house and take pictures, because it's the one with the spider web gates out front, and it looks kind of Victorian. But I actually don't think he lives there anymore. I think he is in the process, or did turn it into, this is very cool, a writing retreat. So I think you can go there and write, but I mean, I have no idea if it's a lottery or, you know, what the criteria is to be able to do that. But I've always wanted to go to Maine to see that house, though, because to me, I imagine him sitting in his study, you know, with lots of books behind him, and, you know, just typing away and being brilliant. That house.
I mean, yeah, it would definitely have a certain feel to it, for sure.
Oh yeah. Even on the outside, it just kind of, I mean, Stephen King, it looks kind of creepy and a little bit dark, and I don't know, it just fascinates me. Yeah. But if that is true, if it is a writer's retreat, I mean, that's probably going to be the list.
Okay. All righty. Well, maybe one day we can meet up there.
That would be so great. And we could have grilled cheese sandwiches and chocolate cake.
That's right. That's what we'll do. Grilled cheese, that's it for the whole week. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate you.
Oh, it was so nice of you to have me. I just, I'm very honored that you wanted to talk to me today.
Oh, any day, every day. And when you have the next one out, please. Yeah, when you have the next one out, please come back and see us.
Okay, I will do that. And you have a great day.
You too. And this was Kaylie Newell. I was talking to Kaylie Newell with her newest book, Montana Christmas Magic, that's out now. You can on her website, Facebook, Twitter, BookBub, and Instagram. All the links are in the write-up of the show. And why don't you do something like Kaylie and her family do every year and go pay the fee of a dog or cat or critter that has been at your local animal shelter the longest, so they can go find their forever home. Or better yet, maybe just bring them home with you. So everybody have a real good week, and we will talk to you very soon. This is Patricia W. Fisher with Readers Entertainment Radio, and keep on reading, everybody.
This show brought to you by Circle of Seven Productions, www.cosproductions.com. Please be sure to subscribe, and welcome to our circle.